The unanswered questions: where did ISIS get the drones, and could such an attack happen right here in the United States? CNN's Brian Todd has been looking for answers. Brian, what are you finding out?
Wolf, just hours ago, the Russian military announced it had killed several militants in Syria and destroyed a stockpile of drones. This is video of that Russian airstrike. We're told tonight this is a new terrorist tactic, that U.S. security officials are very well attuned to this threat and are scrambling to address it. The potential for swarms of potentially dozens of armed drones to attack at one time at large, crowded venues like the upcoming Super Bowl is now a huge concern in the American homeland following those two attacks at two Russian bases in Syria. These drones, displayed by the Russian Defense Ministry, appear to have small bombs on them. The Russians claim swarms of these unmanned vehicles, 13 drones in all, attacked two of their bases in Syria in recent days. They blame ISIS for the attacks. Russian officials say no one was injured and that their anti-aircraft units brought down the drones. Tonight, experts are concerned about the possibility of swarming drone attacks on American targets.
They are small and relatively hard to detect. The radar is not looking for something flying typically as low as a drone or that is as small as a drone. Also, when the drones are launched on a target in a swarming manner, this creates a redundancy and also a saturation effect.
Russian officials say they believe these drones were launched from at least 30 miles away from their targets, but they could travel as far as about 60 miles. How would swarms of them be operated?
The idea of launching multiple drones at a single target really isn't that difficult, especially if these drones have a GPS capability and there's a way, therefore, to pre-program a waypoint into the drone so that it lands, basically crashes at a certain point and becomes a kamikaze.
CNN has learned that U.S. security officials are scrambling to keep up with this latest threat of swarms of drones. A large open venue like this, where there are a lot of people often gathered at once, how vulnerable to swarming drones with bombs?
Well, the answer is if you have a bunch of people in a wide open space like this, of course they're vulnerable, right? And we already know that because we've seen attacks in New York City and other places, and mostly in vehicles, right? And so now what we've done is we've tried to protect ourselves on the ground, pushing that things further out to protect the crowds. But this is something new coming in overhead, right?
High-profile targets like the upcoming Super Bowl could potentially be threatened by swarms of drones. A key question tonight: how can security teams defend against them?
One is you find the bad people to begin with and stop them before they do anything. The second one is all these things are radio controlled, so you would interfere with the electronic signal that's command and controlling the aircraft. And the third thing you might do is just shoot them down. I mean, they are fragile and they are pretty light, and you could probably take it down with a high-powered rifle.
So are those steps being taken to protect Americans against swarming drone attacks? Pentagon and Homeland Security officials tell us they are, but they won't say specifically what's being done, saying a lot of that is classified. One Homeland Security official did tell us that some of those measures are being used to protect big crowds at significant events. So, Wolf, watch out for the upcoming Super Bowl and that potential threat.
All right, Brian. Thank you. Brian Todd reporting. Coming up, there's growing fallout right now here at home and abroad.